Alright, what's good everyone? So today I'm going to do a quick video on a few of the hybrids I have over here. I'm going to start with this female Super Ball. This girl's a ball python times short tail python hybrid. Now for Super Balls, it can be any of the three short tails. So it could be blood python, Borneo short tail python, or Sumatran short tail python, bred with a ball python, and you get a Super Ball. No one actually ever classified the three species as different type of hybrids, and they just kind of bunched them all together as basically like blood pythons and stuff like that. So as you know, the Sumatran short tail pythons are the blacks. Some people still call them black blood pythons, but they are separate species from blood pythons, as well as Borneo short tail pythons are separate as well. But anytime you breed any one of those to a ball python, it's going to be a Super Ball. So it can be a little difficult knowing exactly which species you have in your Super Ball unless you actually produced it or the breeder showed you the parents he used. So that's something you always want to keep an eye out on. Now this girl's a 2011 animal I got from my man Joe back in the day. He used to be, some of y'all might remember him as Balls Deep Reptiles. And she has produced one clutch for me in all these years. So they are not easy to breed. Well, they're easy to breed, but they're not easy to get to reproduce. So I bred her to, back in 2015, I produced the very first, what I was calling Super Angry Ball hybrids, which is, I bred her to an Angolan python. So it's a 3-species hybrid, basically short tail python, ball python, and Angolan python. When I got this girl years ago, I did have a buddy tell me, because she originated from Ben Siegel Reptiles, that someone sold Ben Siegel Reptiles the clutch or whatever, and that it was probably orange head Sumatran short tail python as the mother to the clutch. So I'm not sure how true that is. But even orange head Sumatran short tail pythons are at the moment a different locality to the black and the chrome Sumatran short tail pythons. And those might be reclassified one day as a separate species, because there's a little bit of a difference with those orange head Sumatran short tail pythons. But you can see this girl is pretty big. Like I said, she's a 2011 animal, so she's what? 11 years old, and this table is just over 3 feet, so I'm gonna say she's probably 4.5 feet, give or take. You can see they get real girthy like the bloods. I would say size wise, she's got to be maybe 5,000 grams at least. But yeah, I got her to breed, well, successfully lay a clutch one time. I've gotten her to breed many times to that Angolan male, as well as 2 other Angolan males, successful locks and everything, and she's just never gone again. So I don't know what the trick was that first time around, but I haven't been able to duplicate it again. I mean, I never even got an ovulation from her, bad you know, a bad clutch, infertils or slugs, duds, none of that. They breed and nothing ever happens. So, and from what I understand, trying to produce F2 Super Balls, so doing a Super Ball to Super Ball, is also really difficult. And usually what happens is breeders might put back a ball python to the Super Ball to produce F2. So then you start getting more of the ball python look again. And they're a lot more successful with that. But to produce your own Super Balls, I only know of it being done with female short tail pythons and a male ball python. I've never heard anyone do a male short tail to a female ball python. I've tried over the years, it's never happened. My short tails, as soon as I put a blood python or a short tail with a female ball python, they kind of completely lose their shit. They just want to get away from that female ball python. They don't want to have nothing to do with her. But male ball pythons are really strong breed. Male ball pythons just don't care. They're gonna tap anything. So if you got a strong male ball python, that's generally the one you're gonna want to go to. And you can't produce morph super ball hybrids. So you put a banana ball python to a blood python, you're gonna produce banana super balls. It does cross over. Said real thick bodied. I've maintained her at this size, but they can't get twice this size. So they can get pretty much like a blood python build and everything. Temperament wise, they're a little better starting off than blood python babies. But then again, that all depends too on which short tail. Some Sumatran short tail babies are a little bit better than blood python babies as well. And then ball python babies are better temperament wise as well when they start off. So, but they do act more like a blood python or a short tail python. They will dig if you allow them to. You give them enough substrate to dig in, they will dig. They're still a very heavily built terrestrial snake. They got much larger heads. Not as big or as impressive as a blood python's head, but still more impressive than a ball python. Yeah, so like I was saying with them acting like blood and short tail pythons, they can tolerate both temperatures. You can keep them a little cooler, like the bloods and short tails like it, low 80s, or you can keep them higher, like the ball pythons, the mid to upper 80s and stuff like that. But since they act more like the bloods and shorts, I do prefer to keep them a little cooler. Another thing is that I really like about them is they're not as susceptible to like RIs and stuff like that. If the temperature, the humidity drops too much, or if it's too high, they're a lot more tolerable, I would say, or durable like ball pythons are. I've never had one of these develop like an RI or anything like that. So they're not as sensitive as maybe a blood or a short tail python when it comes to having to maintain those temperatures. They're definitely more durable like a ball python is. You see her belly now. But yeah, they do move around more like a blood or short tail python, so you're not gonna get any of that balling up the ball pythons do. Definitely cool if you just wanna have something to play with, a pet. I like them far more than on ball pythons, and probably not as much as a pure blood python or short tail python. But I think these things look like ball pythons on steroids. But yeah, I'll continue trying to breed her, see what we can get in the future. But I'm gonna move on to one of the next hybrids for ya. All right, so here's the next hybrid. This is gonna be a Coral Glow Super Ball hybrid. So this is a morph hybrid, and I actually produced this male, so I know the genetics to him. He was produced from a Coral Glow Black Pastel Ball Python, bred to a Sumatran Short Tail Python. Alright, so the interesting part with this male is I produced him from a dual-sided clutch. Basically, he was the only hybrid in the entire clutch. Everything else was pure Short Tail Python. I produced him back in 2018. I believe I had originally, when I started that breeding season, I had paired a male short tail to the female short tail, I think once or twice before I changed my mind on going that route. I decided, you know what, let me go and throw a ball python in there, see if I can get some hybrids. And the male ball did lock up with that girl maybe, I don't know, several times throughout a few months. And then it was all about a waiting game. I didn't think I was gonna get a dual-sided clutch. So the first baby that pipped was a Sumatran short-tail python. And once I saw that, I figured, you know, there weren't gonna be any hybrids. And then I think the second baby, which was him, I found outside the egg the next day. And that was it. He was the only one out of, I think it was a 10-8 clutch, something like that. Everything else in that clutch was Sumatran short-tail python. Yeah, you can see he's pretty big. This is our AR 70 series tub. And he touches, he's longer than the tub. He's pretty good. He is flighty though. So I try not to mess with him too much, because once he gets into a mode of really trying to get away and you start trying to stop him, he will become defensive. But other than that, he's pretty good. You see how his colors have changed. He was a lot darker purple when he was younger. He's also got a little paradoxing going on. Let me see if I can show it to you. He won't stay still, but on the head, little black on the head. And then at the very end of the tail, some more black. So yeah, you can produce morphs and hybrids. And the goal I want to do with this boy is to breed him back to a Sumatran short-tail python. I want more of the head structure. You can see they still have a little bit more body type to the blooded short-tail pythons, but I do want the head to be more of the short-tail head. And then by breeding him back to another really nice dark Sumatran girl, that'll just add to the purples and stuff being darker. Give you an idea how big he is actually next to the tub. 2018. Yeah, he hasn't bred for me though. I've tried over, I'm gonna say the last 2 seasons, and nothing yet so far. This season I might try a different female and see if that works. But yeah, he hasn't showed any interest in breeding, so just to go to show you, it's not easy producing hybrids. There you go. You can see the paradox right on top of the head. You see they got much bigger heads than ball pythons. A little bit in between the ball and the short tail. So I want more of the short tail head on that. So let's get on to this next animal. Alright, for the last hybrid, we have a super angry ball female. So this is actually a 3 species hybrid. That first female that you see in the first Super Bowl in the video, I bred her to an Angolan python. So this is basically short tail ball python, Angolan python. It's gonna be 50% Angolan python, 25% ball, and 25% short tail python. I think I produced 9 of these back in 2015. I have not been able to get another clutch since then from that same female. Although I've tried, I've bred her to the same Angolan male, and I think 2 other Angolan males throughout all those years, and they'll breed and lock and everything, but no eggs. This is the last one I actually held on to. They do have the more beaded skin or scales, like the Angolans. A little more slender too. They're definitely more heavily built than Angolans, but not like the Super Ball, the ball time short tail crosses. So super angry ball. The only ones ever produced. At the end of the video, I'll probably post up some pictures of the clutch, because this is probably one of the craziest clutches of snakes I've ever produced. Every baby in the clutch looked different. Nothing looked the same. They all had different colors. On top of different colors, they some of them had different structures. Some of them were more heavily built. Some of them had bigger heads. This one was a little bit more ball python, Angolan python head type. But I had one that had the Sumatra short-tail python, closer to a Sumatra short-tail python head, and was more heavily built. The problem I learned with these, and with any hybrids, you're gonna have to learn how they act, since they have, you know, a couple different species, where since it's 50% Angolan, they can't tolerate really large males like the ball pythons can. And then, you know, short tail and blood pythons can't tolerate super massive males either, like you might think they can because of their body size. But, you know, blood and short tail could definitely tolerate a bigger male than what this animal could. So that would cause regurgitation issues. So I had to take my time with feeding, very much like an Angolan. You can't give them males that are just too big. And then another thing is, I believe that mom that I showed earlier is Sumatra short-tail python, is in her genetics, but because these guys, everyone in this clutch like to soak. And the one thing I've noticed difference between my short tails, my Sumatra short tails, and my blood pythons is Sumatra short tail pythons really do like water a lot more. They're constantly in and out their water bowls, soaking. And that's the issue I had with these, where they soaked just as much as Sumatra short tail python did, but their skin couldn't handle it. So I remember having 2 babies and that clutch that, even though the water bowl was clean and everything like that, they started getting blisters, water blisters. And that was a pretty easy fix, using smaller bowls that they couldn't soak in and getting them to dry out. But they do like the kind of more wettish environment or humid environment the Sumatra short-tail pythons like. Always finding them soaking. Didn't matter if I had hides in there or anything. This girl was really crazy when she hatched out. She looked so much different than this. As she aged, she's pretty much kind of browned out, dulled out. Most likely from the ball python genetics. Just what ball pythons do. But I'll show a picture of her. She'll be the first picture when this video is done you'll see. As a baby, she was insane. That's why I kept her. Super chilled. A lot more handleable and chilled than Angolan pythons. I always found the Angolan pythons to be very flighty, kind of. Yeah, I haven't ever bred this girl. I haven't even tried. Don't really know what I'm gonna do with her. Kind of just kept her as a pet. Yeah, hybrids aren't super easy. Some people think it's super easy to produce hybrids. They're really not easy to produce. I've tried a lot. I have tried retics. and blood hybrids. Gotten them to lock, no eggs. I've also tried Angolan to blood pythons. Also got those to lock and breed, no eggs, nothing. So, but if you want something as just a pet, they're definitely cool to have. That's all I got for y'all. Y'all already know what it is. Hate, comment, subscribe. Till next time. Later.